So I made it over here to the Tomb of the Eldritch Sun, just about to go and beat this Forgotten Gods campaign. This is the first time recording since I did the hardcore random challenge, the 1 month thing that Grimpedia hosted, and during that challenge I just learned so much about this mod that I had to make a bunch of changes to my build, and I plan on making a whole bunch of changes to this whole series in general, but after this guy dies, which hopefully won't be for a while. But I plan on making it a lot more strict, and that's why I kind of made all these changes to the build, because I said a rule was I had to have the 2 skills that I have randomly chosen for me, I have to have them maxed right away. But I kind of was a little bit iffy on that rule because my first skill was Immolation, which would burn my health. So that was like really unlucky. But I'm going to make that a much stricter rule. I respect a whole bunch of things to make sure that these 2 skills can both be maxed. I don't have all of their passives maxed yet, but that's okay. We'll figure something out like that. So like before I was using this War Wind ability, this kind of Cyclone ability to deal damage, but now I am really just relying on the Immolation. The damage over time from the Immolation, I was able to get this modifier for it that increases its area by a ridiculous amount. And let me show you its damage. It's not terrible. It's not good enough to get you through, but that's where I used my other things that I have. So if I just sit here and let them burn, they're mostly dying to my retaliation, but it deals like a little bit of damage. It can kill trash mobs for sure. But the other thing I'm using is Warfare's Leap, Heroic Vault. That's the other skill that I randomly rolled. That's a really good one. It deals a ton of bleeding damage because it has this bleeding damage right on its skill. It has more bleeding damage on its passive, and it has percentage bleeding damage with its other passive. So that's pretty nuts. So right now I'm just focused on the bleeding damage from this. Physical is pretty good too, but and the burning damage from this, plus internal trauma. Yeah, it also deals from this, internal trauma, and bleeding of its own, the supernova. Where if you don't know that, that's this like little nova that comes out of me every few seconds. So that itself is also dealing quite a bit of bleed damage. So mainly bleed damage I'm thinking right now. Bleed, fire, and physical. And then the other thing that I'm using, the other skill, it's not an actual skill from my class skill bars, it is a skill from the Kingslayer relic that I crafted in the last episode. This Kingslayer skill, just like this kind of big AoE attack. It doesn't deal a ridiculous amount of damage, but it does apply a bleed, and it does knock people down, and it's a pretty big AoE. Even reduces their damage too, so I wouldn't recommend using it as like a main ability in any other build, but right now with the restrictions that we're playing with, I think it's pretty good. Which is a reason why I want to make this a lot more strict. Because you can have interesting situations where like you get this skill you don't really want to max right away, but you have to because the rules are stricter, so you have to make decisions like using component skills and stuff until you can level it up. Just really interesting stuff like that that you normally wouldn't do in Grim Dawn. Kind of makes you think outside the box. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But let me stop talking and distracting myself. I will meet you, I believe, at the end of this dungeon, Father Kaimon, right? Which I'm actually quite worried about. Also forgot to mention, I am playing with the hero rate up. I have been playing the Forgotten Gods campaign with the hero rate up this entire time. But I guess this Tomb of the Eldritch Sun is just one of those areas where Grimmist just spawns a ton of monsters. So this is actually getting quite scary. But I'm gonna try and make it through alive. My god, all these monsters are swarming the item that I want to pick up. Oh, and I was just gonna run away from them. My block chance is very absurd, as you would know, because I am playing Cenobite with that Sanctuary ability, which I'll show you after the commotion is down. Okay, I think that's the last of them. Oh my god. But yeah, Citadel alone, it gives you, what, 14% shield block chance. But I also have just 1 point in the transmuter. If you go all the way in this, you can get 100% block chance very easily, but you're sacrificing the amount of damage that you're blocking. The 1 point in here I think is really good. Like, I'd really like the 20% block chance, just losing 33%, right? But if I put more points in here, that gets less and less valuable. But my block, 76%. If you ask me, that is more than enough. It's been more than enough to keep me alive. Because that paired with the damage absorption from this, 17% damage absorb. And I think there was flat damage absorb somewhere in my build. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got rid of it when I respec my build to be more strict. But if we can also get a source of flat, that would be amazing. I guess shield block chance is kind of flat damage resist by itself. You know what? I just completely forgot that I was going to spend my legendary tokens on this legendary. Pretty funny. So it was a Cenobite, and it gave extra block chance, damage blocked, and +1 to all Cenobites. Even a little bit of burn damage, and percentage defensive. That's really good. A lot better than this. All this really gives me that I care about is the Aether Resist, which I am well overcapped, so. This is a ring, and I already have one on. That's even funnier. So I'd get rid of the Anchorite Seal, yes. I'm completely fine with getting rid of Anchorite Seal. My resist, yeah, my elemental resist went down. That sucks. Also my poison resist, ooh, I'm gonna have to work on that. Don't think anything deals poison damage in this area, hopefully. So this shrine is very exciting because it's the last point that I needed. Why is it red? Am I taking damage? It's the last point that I needed for the Autumn Boar. 33% chance on block, and I have 88% block chance right now since I just equipped that legendary on a very low cooldown to do something. Unleash a wave of force from your shield. It's like, that sounds pretty good. I never actually used this point before, so let's see how it goes. Oh, all of my passives are in use. That kind of sucks. Okay, I put the turtle on therapeutic touch. I'm gonna put this on immolation. So now when I block, I'm gonna do some internal trauma, which is cool because I am scaling some internal trauma on the supernova thing. So that's gonna be nice. So now I'm basically a retail build, right? It is still really scary with this amount of monsters, though. I feel like with Grimace to turn on, I'm much more worried about the hordes and hordes of heroes than I am bosses, but I know this boss is very scary, so I still should watch out. He lowers your defensive. My defensive is like really good though, so let's see what happens. And he's about to die. Good, good, good. Korvac is disappointed in him. But Korvac is next. And Korvac's pretty scary. I don't know. I see a lot more people die to Kaiman than I do to Korvac, honestly. Just Korvac is like a longer fight. And what am I putting these 2 points into? That is the question. I'm thinking I want to upgrade Supernova. More damage, right? Because it increases the internal trauma, increases the flat from Supernova, and it even gives a percentage burn. So yeah, that was my plan. So let's just keep going on that. So like I said, longer fight. He has, is it 3 or 4 forms? I know it's one of those. He has some moves that like hurt really bad. I don't exactly memorize them all, but hopefully I'll just try to avoid them. The meteor one does look scary. That one, yeah. That one I think I want to not get hit by. Form number 2. He gets angry, he smashes his chains off. Okay, this ad spawning phase is new. I didn't even know this was in the game. But I guess I have to destroy these rifts to get them off. That's pretty cool. I think this boss really did need that. Man, I wonder how long ago that was actually added. That I just haven't fought Korvac in that long. And he's dead. Very good. Let's open up his chest and see if we get any legendary tokens. Ooh, yes, we got one. And we got a double rare. Is it this helmet? Pierce and Vitality resist. A lot of health, a lot of offensive. Okay, that's actually pretty sick. It almost like double the armor of my current one. I don't really care about the damage bonuses, but... And I don't have enough spirit. Aw, man. I can put that in my stash, though. For a later character. Nice. So that is the end of Forgotten Gods. I think... So, like, I want to move on to Elite as soon as possible. But my resists are not good enough for Elite. Not at all. So my Aether... is good. My piercing is good. My chaos is almost good. Everything else is... Fire is also good. Everything else was really bad. So I'm gonna have to deal with that somehow. Okay, so we're here in Elite. I played around a little bit in here. I just accepted the quest, killed a few zombies. Not really much. I'm a little bit worried about my resist. Everything is kind of fine. Cold is almost maxed. I'm pretty happy with 79%. But my acid and my vitality are very, very poor. So anything that does that, I really need to watch out for. I already changed a bunch of my components around. I threw on the anti-venom salve on a bunch of my pieces that didn't have a component or didn't have like a very good component on it in the first place. Trying to get my poison and acid resist up, which has helped a little bit. I'm actually looking at these items right now and I'm thinking I want to take off the mutated scales. Oh, you know what? I can't because I haven't rescued this person's yet. Well, so I can go back to normal and do that, but that's cheating. I'm just gonna go and play. If I die, I die. What can you do? So anything that does acid or vitality, I need to try and run away from. But let's see how good my damage is against these elite monsters. The commons have 5k. They die pretty quickly. But obviously the thing you have to worry about are the heroes. Grimmest is not on anymore. It's only on normal. On elite, it's back to normal, which is cool. But as we get stronger and stronger throughout elite, get better items, get more skill points, I will definitely be putting the Grimace setting up at least once. Hopefully I'll get to the point soon enough. It looks like I'm able to deal with all these monsters pretty easily. Like, this is a lot more relaxing than it was in the last clip that I recorded. But I'll meet you in the Burial Hill Cave to kill that dude. Well, here's our first hero fight. I guess he's a boss, not a hero, huh? 700k HP. Our single target damage is definitely pretty low. That is to be expected. I'm kind of just relying on the absurd amount of bleed damage from my jump, really, to kill this boss. The aura and my right click, the Kingslayer, they're doing a pretty good job at dealing with the ads, but not with the big guy with 700k HP. Gonna have to try and figure out a way to deal more single target damage. Hopefully I can do that with items. He did go down slowly but surely. I have a Potion of Clarity. I think I should just drink that, huh? If anything, I'll be able to get a bunch of bonus XP from all the quests that I'll be turning in on Elite. Elite? It's like starting Elite is just like my favorite part of the game, honestly. Especially with mods when you're playing a class that you've never played before. Because this is the point in the game where things really pick up. Things really start getting a lot tougher. And usually when you're first starting Elite, unless you already had like a bunch of gear set up, you're not very strong. And I kind of like that feeling. I like the feeling of, you know, having a chance of dying. This guy does not have 700k HP like the last, so he should be a lot easier to take down. These little minions of mine, I believe they're reducing his resist. What is that, under warfare? Yeah. Yeah, physical and bleeding resist, which is awesome because I am dealing both of those. As you can see from my dealt DPS list, 9k physical, 7k bleeding. So more points into that will definitely be good. They apply bleed and physical themselves, but maybe if I level them up more, they'll do more damage because it scales up player bonuses. But right now, I'm just kind of relying on their resist shred. The first shrine of Elite before we go turn that quest in. Let's go. Awesome. I need to figure out which devotion I'm going for next. I don't know if I already had it decided, but just completely forgot. I feel like I do need to get rid of the turtle at some point. This requires a mace, but it gives a ton of internal trauma and extra physical. Honestly though, I think I'd rather get like the highest bleed damage scaling, right? Which is what? This guy? Olrion? Physical, oh, physical internal trauma. That sounds good, that sounds good. So I just need a bunch of I need 2 more yellow and like 14 more purple. This will give me purple and yellow. But I have to make sure I'm wearing a mace, which is kind of upsetting. I'm sure there are a lot of very good maces out there. I'm just gonna go with it for now. Not gonna complain about 20 defensive ability. A lot of tanky things in here, which makes me happy, and then a few damage points. The internal trauma would be nice. It's not really like my main damage type by any means. Okay, my jump does internal trauma too. Cool. So my jump and supernova both deal internal trauma. So maybe that is a lot better than I thought. But once again, I have to make sure I am wearing a mace. Let me go turn back in that quest. Let's see it level up. Yeah, it is nice. Nice, and the other thing I like about this portion of the game too is that your level ups get super exciting because they're few and far between. So, continue putting points into my internal trauma because my DPS is lacking at the moment. So I can help him with the water pump. I definitely have the scrap white. Yes, I do. Let me also give you the Aether Crystal. Okay, so before I help him with the water pump, I kind of really want my goal to be to rescue this guy's apprentice so I can switch out my components without having to go back to normal difficulty. Because I don't want to go back to normal difficulty. I'm just going to forget that that exists. So I need to get up to the Burwitch Estates. I'm not going to record the whole thing. That'd be like, what, 30 minutes long? Nobody wants to watch that. I'll just... Ooh, what the... Monsters right away. I'll just quickly cut over to it. Whoops. I just unlocked the Burwitch Village waypoint. So now all it's going to take is walking a little bit forward up to the estates. And then rescuing that guy's apprentice. Before we go into the cellars to save her, let's do the shrine. I believe this shrine is a big one. Gets me the big point on that mace tree, I think. Let's find out. So something is dealing like a lot of acid, and oh wow, that's making me nervous. What is that dealing all that acid damage? Putting like an acid floor on the ground. Okay, it's that thing in there. All I have to do is be a little bit careful.
I can't do that.
Grubnar, I think it's Grubnar. Can't go in there with the acid on the ground. Just try and kill him. Man, you see why I'm worried about that acid damage. My incoming acid damage DPS just went above 7k. Now that is kind of terrifying. I'm gonna be really happy to unlock this apprentice to be able to put some more acid resist components on my gear. Okay, so I killed him. I think he was the guy putting down the poison ground, but this grub, was it Grubnar? He's the one shooting these stupid projectiles, so I need to take him down next. He's also putting down toxic ground. That's why I was having so much trouble, because there was 2 different acid damage guys. Good thing I was able to deal with that. Got him. And is that... That is the shrine. Awesome. I've also been collecting a ton of legendary tokens. Got 7. I started this elite with like, what, 3? The token drop rate is amazing in elite. It's really bad. The legendary drop rate is really bad in normal, as it is in vanilla. But what I want to do... Let me spend this devotion point first. Yes, it is 505 internal trauma, and then plus 50% internal trauma as well. So anything that deals weapon damage now. So mainly this Targo's hammer deals weapon damage. That's going to inflict a bunch of internal trauma as well, which is awesome. Let me see if I can grab a mace from this guy. Blunt, Dark Theocracy, Oracle's Struggle, not Strugger. Okay, it is level 75, so one more level, I can get this on. And it's looking like it's going to deal... Actually, it says it deals less damage, interesting. I'm sure the set bonus and me putting a component on it will make it a lot better. The internal trauma and physical damage bonuses seem really good, and even has a burn damage bonus. Converting some physical to chaos though, that's kinda iffy. I don't like that. But we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be an improvement overall. Put that on next level. Okay, got her back to town. Let me see if putting in all these quests gets me a level up. I highly doubt it, but I really want to put on this weapon. Helped this guy, and this guy, and Ulgrim. Okay, and now I have to go back to the Burwitch outskirts and get the crafting guy. Looks like no level up. Well, I'm going to go and clear out the Slith from the dungeon below the town. Hopefully that should give me a level up. Because I wanted to end the video right when I rescued the... Right when I rescued Darlet. But now I have this new item that I really want to try, so... But while I am here... Because these Slith are going to be dealing a lot of acid damage. So let's get rid of these crappy components. Is it right? I have Mark of the Traveler on here, which I guess is fine. So remove those, and let me get some not Ugdenbug leather, the anti-venom salve. Oh, I have to craft it, don't I? Well, good thing I have the crafter here. So put it on my hands and put it on my shoulders, and now we're at 75% acid. Still not capped, but it's going to be a lot less scary at least. Is the Corruptor about to be down? I think this is like the fastest that I've ever actually ran through this area. I really just want this level up. I'm really hoping I get it. This Desecrated Shrine plus turning into quest should give it, I hope. Go, and the next point into the maze. One more point and I'm done. That's even more internal trauma damage I'll be getting. Well, let's go turn into quest. Hope it levels me up. Maybe Captain John Bourbon will get me. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. So now I gotta end Warden Krieg's life. So when I throw this on, it says minus 144 damage. No way that's true though. I guess this deals a lot more flat physical. I don't know. Let me see. Where are we gonna go? Let's go back to Burwitch Village, I guess. Let's go unlock the Rift Gate for the Warden's Laboratory. Let's not necessarily kill him this episode. I'm more than happy with the progress I made this episode. I think that's probably gonna be way too long actually, because I've just done too many things. So I'm gonna say like the damage increase isn't really noticeable, just from my aura alone. With the increased physical trauma, increased burn percentages from that new item that I just equipped. Because the DPS that it's counting is just, I believe it's just counting the DPS of Kingslayer, which is not really what I'm going for. Like, it's a nice ability to use every few seconds, but not really like my main source of damage. I'm more about like retaliating and passive damage, and my E doing a ton of bleed. And here is the rift. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out and watching this entire thing if you did. I think on the next video of this, I'll be like around level 80, 85. And I'll have the build more fleshed out. I think I'll have more legendaries equipped, more skill points to spend stuff on. And at that point, I'll be able to talk about the build in like kind of a build guide-y way. Not really a build guide, because I wouldn't recommend really playing with a skill like Kingslayer and stuff like that. But, I don't know. It'll be a lot of fun, so I'll see you next time.